Hello everyone, welcome back to the Big Bad Bench. My name is John, aka Big Bad Biologist, and today we're going to be working on one of these Sega Game Gears. This is one that I've already done. Ooh, look at that. Look at how cute that is. Let's see. Is that going to show up alright? Well, let's hide the volume in case they're litigious. So, yeah, this is a Sega Game Gear that I redid. This one has a Benn Venn IPS screen on it, new audio, new case. This is like a smoked black kind of case that looks pretty awesome, made by RetroSix. The audio is also from RetroSix. And so yeah, I have two Sega Game Gears and it's time to do the other one. And so if you don't know, these things by default are really awful. They just have awful caps that just leak everywhere and cause a giant mess. And so you gotta, if you have an old Game Gear, you gotta take it apart. The other thing that always happens, I don't know if this one shows it or not. This one actually looks pretty good, but you know, generally there's going to be some battery leakage, and so that's where the new cases come into play. Makes it nice for working on. So you can see here on the Big Bad Bench, we have some Vegemite. We got our parts for everything. We also have this cursed contraption that we're going to plug in later today once we get this all reassembled. I don't know what the hell this thing is, but it scares me. So let's plug it in. So let's say hi to folks in the chat while you examine all the bits. Here's the case that we're going to be using today for this one. Leave our Vegemite showing. Say hi to folks in the chat. We got Mac84, Stephen Carlson, Mr. Tech Gadget, Francois Reval, Gut Bomb, Charlie's Computers, Retro Tech Tom, Tech Ambrosia, Jamie's Hacksjack, Vic the Vicar. Hello everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for coming today. So here's our new audio board. We're going to get to that in a little bit. The first thing we need to do is, this is the power supply board. This one has not yet been recapped, and so that's our very first thing we're going to do today is get the caps off of this guy and put some new caps on. And Trina's Technobabble is here. Hello. All right. So this one is good. It only has 3 caps. Pretty straightforward board, nothing fancy. Of course, my Moo gun. The filter is almost totally clogged. So it might not be working today as ideally as it should. Gotta order some new filters for this thing. Hey, I DIY. How you doing, bud? I haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, so we'll show you that you can buy cap kits from Console 5. The issue with these things is that there's so many, oh, that one fell out. So many revisions of the board that it's a good idea to figure out which revisions you have before buying all your caps. There are some commonalities, but it doesn't hurt to figure that out. So of the 2 I have, there's 2 different revisions. They have slightly different different cap makeup. Let's go to that real quick while I wait for my other soldering iron to heat up. Let's go here. So this is our friends Console 5. They have a great wiki on Game Gears. So the one we're working on today is a VA0. The other one that I worked on previously is a VA1. But they have all the caps lists, and I think they sell cap kits for all these things. So once you figure out what you have, it's pretty easy to do. The issue is that you gotta get to these things. This is basically the Macintosh equivalent of a Classic or Classic 2. You 100% need to do these things. Let's go back to here. Okay. Hey, lazy blue goat. Ooh, I DIY is making a shed. So you little jerk cap. This should be easier to get off. This one's being a pain. I believe that the power supplies and the sound cards are the same for all of these. Okay. That one's off. That one's off. Now we gotta get this guy. This guy is our last one. Okay, there we go. Okay, so these ones are through hole. The rest can be tantalums, or I think Console 5 sells them as ceramics too. What do we need? We need 820 microfarads, 6.3 volts. And of course, it's not a number that you would typically have around. I think this Genesis, I don't know, are also bad, but I don't think they're as bad. Well, I'll show you this board here in a second and some of the stuff that happened to it. Oh, we can zoom in a little bit. Why are we zoomed so far out? Let's try to zoom you in. There we go. It's a little better. We could probably do this under the microscope, but this board's kind of big and these are just through holes, so this one's not a problem. Of course, my workshop is a little cold. We got some snow here in New England last night. Oh, guess what I just forgot to do? I forgot to clean up my cap juice. You can see these aren't too disgusting, but you can see there's definitely cap juice there. So we should clean up the board first. There's this little guy that fell off. We got to put him back on. Yeah, the Game Gears are pretty densely packed, but also they don't seem to be all that well built. Gonna dump some right inside there. Get underneath that cap that I forgot to clean. Some of the traces seem kind of fragile, but yeah, it's like a Mac Classic 2 kind of thing. The construction seems about the same, and I think they're kind of the same era. So in the US, these were released in 1991. Someone can correct me on the dates for the Classic 2, but it should be right around that same era. Yeah, and Tech Ambrosia's shocked that they weren't well made. The screens were absolutely atrocious, which is why you like really need to do a screen upgrade on these things. Like, they were just so bad. Let's put this over here. One thing is, be careful about these screens. You don't want to really get isopropanol on the screens themselves. All right, what else do we got here? We got 100 microfarad, 25 volt. 100 microfarad, 25 volt. Okay. Okay, one more on the power board and then we're done with that. And that last one is 22 microfarad, 35 volt. 22 microfarad. You're going to get a 50 volt. What do you think about that? Yeah, you're getting a 50 volt. Come on, pliers, where'd you go? I just did some reorganizing this morning, and now I can't find anything. Why would I reorganize right before stream? I didn't even really reorganize, I just kind of cleaned things up. But everything I needed was right here on a pile in the BigBadBench. And now it's in drawers, can't find it. Stripey over there. Boop. Yeah, I couldn't imagine playing these back in the day. I didn't have one of these. I don't even know if I knew anyone that had one. That they must have sold a lot of them because there are a lot of them for sale that say non-functioning. I forget if I paid 60 or 80 bucks for the two of these and a bunch of games. Okay. All right, power board's done. Now let's go over to the microscope. Okay, so there's our power board. Should be good to go. Set you aside. Here's our main motherboard. You can see we got some solder masks. So let's look at this under the microscope in a little bit more detail. And let me show you what we're working with. So one of the things we're going to do is there's these power connectors, or well, they're audio and power connectors. What this thing is called the Clean Amp Duo audio board. It comes with new of these cables to hopefully be a little bit more higher quality. And when I took them out, one of these little dealies fell off. I don't know what this is. It's the label on the PCB says EM. It might be some kind of like this one's, these are all oriented like this. Coil or choke. So we got to put that back on before I forget, because I know I'm going to forget. Sorry, that's out of focus. Just for a second. Oh, that's what I was trying to avoid. One moment, please. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I really should just go buy some blue tack so that I can avoid doing stuff like that on streams. One moment. All right. That's better. Okay. All right, and so then down here, we can see there's a kind of nasty section where the leakage kind of came through and around on the back. All the caps are on the other side, but it like oozed through. I did some poking and everything seems okay there, so I'm not going to touch that. I don't want to disrupt anything. Here, there was a lot of leakage and we lost a lot of solder mask, and so I cleaned up this. This thing got a ultrasonic bath. But I cleaned a lot of it up. I got rid of some of the corrosion that was floating around. But we did lose a solder pad over here. And so far I've gone in and I put a little bodge wire in there. So we're going to have to be careful putting this one back together. So I think from our console 5 thing, this is C6 and C43. No, oh, no. What are we looking at here? C48. C48 and C6. Yeah, they're both 10 microfarads, 6.3 volt. So that should be good. Okay. Yes, microscope chaos. And where's our plus? Our plus is facing down here. So since these are tants, I'm going to put the plus down with the stripe. Tin that pad. So this one I did initially boot it. And it did work, and then it stopped working. So if this one doesn't work today, we might have some troubleshooting to do. I really hope it just works once, because this thing was so nasty. Let's tin this pad. And our stripe is to the left. I'll show you the other side of the board where it was also pretty bad. So these are those caps that they're in like a plastic package, but it's just like a regular electrolytic, but it's in a weird package. Yeah, I think what I did before, I used too big of a cap before, physically too big, and when this thing went back together, it kind of got in the way. So, gotta make sure to avoid doing that again. Come on, two-dimensional eyesight. There we go. I think what we're gonna do is pull this around. Okay, that's better. That'll give us just a little space. And now we can wrap our bodge around. I ran that bodge through the via, made sure to solder it on the other side. Okay. So that should be good to go now. Let's see. Let's gank on this thing. Oh yeah, that's solid. Solid as a moose. Okay. Okay. So then over here, this was real bad. You can even see like there are spots on the board. Oh, let's try to make this a little bit easier to see for you. You can see that, you know, there's places where the solder mask is gone, but there's also places where like the top layer of the PCB has gotten eaten away. And so I've poked around and I think everything is connected to where it's supposed to go, but I cannot guarantee that. So this also would be an area of issue. Okay, so now we're gonna put these guys on. These are keyed so that they can only fit one way. Oh, it's going to be so good not having all these parts around. I've had parts just sitting around because I keep forgetting to do this project. We're going to flux this up a little bit. Let's have some nice, shiny, happy solder joints. Just to add a little extra flux. Our solder has flux, but it doesn't hurt to give it a little bit of extra. And while I'm thinking about it, I'll put flux over on the other one that we're going to do. So taking these off was really difficult. These have those kind of pins that want to kind of latch in, like they're held in there pretty tightly, and so they kind of get stuck sometimes. Got to make sure to really clean out the solder thoroughly when you try to take them out. I also applied a bunch of heat, which is why one of those little EM things fell off. The other thing we got to remember is to try to clean this board up before we start with the screen bit. I think I destroyed one of the original screens with some isopropanol, so we're gonna try to avoid isopropanol. Okay, now over here, this one in this side. Oh, did I forget to clean out all the solder? I don't think I did. I think I cleaned out all the solder very thoroughly, but apparently not. Boop. Okay. Let's go back to here. Sorry, one moment, please. That should be pretty clear, yeah. They should all be clear. Unless I damage one of the vias, that would suck. There it goes. Now it goes. Okay. So again, these come with the audio kits. These are not part of the other kit. And theoretically, you probably don't need to do this, but they're included, so why the heck not? So what's everyone doing today? Is it a day off for a lot of people? I know I have a day off. Okay. Trina's technobabble's working. Ew. Gonna put a little more. Hope your new job's going well, Trina. Don't mean to say ooh to a new job. Maybe. Oh, Tech Ambrosia's working on videos. That's exciting. All right, so let's go back to main cam. Gonna toss my caps into the box. All right, so here's our board. Got our wires soldered on, ready to go. Got all them in. I guess it's time to start putting the screen kit in. So this is, oh, my flux is getting crazy. Oh, crazy flux. So when these kits first came out, there were wires all over that you have to solder. But eventually, Benn Venn, and maybe some of the other screen producers, I don't know. It seems like Benn Venn's screens are the best ones out there. He came up with these soldering kits that make it way easier to install. Like the cables are all built into these guys. And even this one, I doubt you'll be able, you can't see. The other one I did, you had to solder the screen connector. This one, he has a connector here for the screen that makes installing it much easier. There's also, this one has HDMI out, which is a cool little feature. We're not going to install that today because I don't know how well it's going to fit into this case. Okay, so the first thing we need to do, I guess we should go back into a microscope view. Well, let me show you this outside of the microscope first. So what winds up happening is this goes in. Oh. See, now I'm confused. Oh, I'm confused. So this goes here like this, okay? This is gonna come, we can see that this little thing goes around this crystal. Okay, yeah, so this is gonna come around here like that. That's how we need to do that. Okay, I feel good now. Some of these have pins that go all the way over here, but there's still a pin 1 mark, so you got to make sure when you install these to go through the pin 1 mark. All right, but what we got to do under the microscope first is to flux and tin up that connector. So we got to take this connector and we're going to put a little flux on there. Oh my god, my flux is so excited. I'm going to put a little on this little protuberance too, but we're not going to tin that. Okay, we're also going to turn down the temperature on our iron. He says to go below 300. With my workshop being as cold as it is, I'm not going below 325. We're just going to hit these really quick. Come on, get in the camera view. So you just want to make sure all these pads are nice and tinned. It makes the next step much easier. There you go. All right. So now, did I do that on the right side? Yeah. Okay. Gonna come over here. Let's focus up a skosh. And we want to make sure that we align pin 1 there, and then that little dealie is gonna loop up there. And since we fluxed that already, if we hit this, yeah, see how that just flows up real nice through the hole? I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add some additional flux. Let's really get this all fluxed up. It's gonna be sticky, it's okay. I'm gonna clean our soldering iron. And we're gonna just do pin 1 to start here. We want to make sure that we're not out of alignment. Gonna come in, push that. There we go. Nope. There we go. That's nice. They're all aligned now. I'm just gonna be real careful and do that with all of them. There is a tiny little bit of the material at the edge, and that can be a little bit of a pain in the butt. We don't need to fill up the top, but it doesn't hurt. And I'm just going to come through and just squish down every one of these to really make sure that we're getting good contact. And I might go over them all again just to be 100% sure. And this is just way better than, could you imagine soldering all these individually? I don't think all of them are connections, but still, there's enough there that it would be a pain. Although, you know, I love my soldering projects, so. I could do it all with red wires, red enameled wires. Ah, Tech Ambrosia figured out what she's gonna do tomorrow. Oh, and while I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna hit that again with a little bit of extra solder, just to double sure. There we go. All right, so let's clean that up. Clean this up. There's a lot of flux that goes into this thing. Lots of flux. Francois says a Rossmann amount of flux. Yep. Okay. I'm going to use our toothbrush, our flux toothbrush. And that will come in. Got these dangly bits hanging off. They'll get used here in a second. Okay, you can see that's all soldered up. Should be pretty good, hopefully. Hopefully pretty good. Oh, I've got to flip this one up. This one needs to get soldered over here. Let's check our instructions. A Steve amount of flux. So let's go back to this. So the issue is that this thing is the V5 revision of this cable, and he doesn't have instructions for the V5. So we're using an older revision, but a lot of it's the same. Where is this? Where is this? We're still on the other side. This one, you can see how we had to solder the other screen on. Come on, where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay. Here we go. Solder down M10 and M11. Okay. M10 and M11. Let's go back to the microscope. Oh, we don't care about that. So we're going to add a little bit of flux here and here. And then we flip this duber around. And we look for, there's M11 and there's M10. So these go there and there. We're spilling stuff everywhere. There we go. See how nice that flows in there? They're really cool little inventions. I think what I want to do is bring that up a little more. No, we're going to lift this. Going to lift that back up. It flowed nice, but oh, I made a mess. Oh, John. You're making a mess, John. There we go. That's better. That's better. I like this way better. Okay. Now I got solder everywhere. You come off there. Oh, there you go. Okay. That's good. All right, and then down here you have to just give it a little pinch to encourage it to sit flatter. And let's clean this up. I think it might be time to take a break and try Vegemite. Steve, come on, man. You think I'm really going to burn my fingers? Have I ever burnt my fingers before on this channel? Oh, jeez. Oh, man. I think there was one time where you could actually see, like, the skin smoking. All right, let's set this up here. Oh, while I'm thinking about it, there's one thing we need to do to this soundboard. There's this little tiny jumper over here that we have to jumper because we want this to be stereo. You can have this either be loud or stereo. And even stereo, it's very loud, so you don't really, I don't know why anyone would want the loud setting. We just need to jumper this little region that says stereo. Come on, you blob. Why do I get solder bridges when I don't want them? And I can't make them when I do want them. All right. So let's mount our PCB for this first. So there's our sound card. Let's put that in there. And our case came with all new screws. How cool is that? Came with even a clear AV connector cover. Let's get some of these screws. Dump out some screws. Gonna need some manner of screwdriver. This one looks like it's good. This is going to be a little difficult since it's a new plastic, tiny screws. So there's 3 different kinds of screws in this packet. 2 of them are big ones that I don't think we wind up using. Some of these are these longer ones that are for the case when you put the 2 case halves together, and these are all for like mounting the internal bits. Oh, you can't see what I'm showing you. Here we go. Big ones that we probably won't use, medium size that hold the case together, and these are all for the various internal boards. Okay, let's mount our power board there. This goes in there like that. Oops. These screws are not magnetic. I don't know if that means that they're stainless. Be kind of wild if they, oh, don't forget when you put this in to mount, to include your switch. If you forget the switch, you can't put it in later. Okay. Nope, this goes this way. Yeah, that goes like that. There is a slight difference. There, that little thing goes up like that. Okay, one screw up here. The lack of magnetism is a little bit a pain in the butt when you're trying to put something down inside of an area like this. I think these cases look really nice These are what did I just say? RetroSix cases. Relatively cheap. The screens are kind of expensive, but all the other bits were pretty darn cheap. So these are nice little projects that really improve your Game Gear. Okay, so those are mounted. I'll set you aside. Let's try Vegemite. I'm excited about this. So I brought some Cheez-Its out here to the Big Bad Bench. Oh, it's kind of gross looking. Oh, well, it kind of looks like chocolate. I don't know. It's brown. Oh, it smells like brewing. Let's go nuts. Let's go for it. Wow. That is a taste. Wow. Oh, yeah, I don't, what the heck? My eyes are watering a little bit. I'm gonna mute myself and eat like several of these cookies. Hold on one moment, please. Or Cheez-Its. Okay, I think I'm back. Wow, so Benn Venn sends you Vegemite with his screen kits. You are funny, Mr. Benn Venn. That was an experience. Wow. Okay. So I used to brew, and so I know that smell. That is a smell that I know. Oof. I've never tasted that smell. You know how sometimes you smell a smell and you know what it tastes like? I know the smell. I was not ready for that taste. Okay. We're back to mostly Cheez-It now. Okay, so this thing's gonna wrap around. Our screen is gonna be like this. And there, it gives us a nice little 3D printed bezel that the screen fits in. So one of the things I want to point out here is that the screen actually fits inside this bezel very nicely. Let's put our flux away. I think we're done with that. Let's go back to our instructions. So somewhere in the instructions, they tell us not to take these fuses out. There were 2 fuses. No. You can kind of make it out here and here. They tell us not to take those fuses out to help align the screen. But those fuses get in the way of the 3D printed bezel. So I recommend taking those fuses out. See how, oh yeah, here they say. Note the fuses are still in position. This is to keep the IPS panel dead center. I don't know of a way to mount this thing properly because the little tabs, the solder points from the back of the fuses get in your way. So I recommend taking those fuses out, and the bezel itself keeps the screen in place nicely. So we're going to take this, and I think we're going to use some of the original screws because they're a little bit longer. than the ones that come with the whatchamacallit kits, the case. So you can kind of see where the screws are there. There we go. Okay, so this is going to go like that. Sorry if my head's in the way. Yeah, I figured if I was going to go for it, I may as well just go for it. But do note that, so these original screws, some of them can get kind of corroded, so we're not going to use any of the corroded screws. We're going to try to pick out 4 nice originals. Okay. And I'm just using these, the originals, because see, they're quite a bit longer than the ones that come with the case kit. Get out of here, rusty screw. Oh, okay. And so I just realized I forgot something. So this is one of the issues with this kit. It comes with protective film on the LCD, and basically everything that you do now is gonna make the LCD dirty. And so you just got to be really careful with it and figure out a way to clean it afterwards, after you get everything assembled. That's going to go there like that. Nope, I did it wrong. Okay, this goes down here. That goes there like that. There we go. And so there's just 4 of these. Not tightening them all until I get all the screws in there. If only you had gloves. It's not my hands that are the dirty bits, it's everything else. So you can see now, this just like dust from the world gets in there. Oh, no, I must put that in backwards. Yeah, that lines up way better now. Okay. So now there are screens in there. Yeah, it looks like, so one of these is for the HDMI out, but it looks like they're both the same size, which is kind of annoying. But I think we'll be okay. The issue is that the picture of this screen does not exist in the instructions. And so if you look at, let's go back to here. So this is a place where you can buy these screens. Yeah, here it is. This guide is for an older version of the kit that's very similar. New kit, new instructions coming soon, which kind of sucks. He does have a Discord. I didn't see a whole lot there about revised instructions. So we're kind of going for it. I'm sort of going this based off of, yeah, okay. So we know that this little thing has to go around the crystal, and so that lines up pretty well there. So we're going to take that. And these are always a little fiddly, these like laptop style connectors. Get that inserted. And hopefully that's good. Hopefully that is good. So now we got to flip this one around. Let's go under the microscope. Steve says, this video is now the guide, including the Vegemite. Yeah, how to eat Vegemite. Okay, so let's go over to the microscope and let's show you what we're looking at over here. Okay, so there's our thing inserted there. So this little guy that says T10 needs to go to T10. So we're going to put a little dab of flux on there. And then we're going to use our tweezers. Oh, this is very fiddly. Sorry if I'm not aligned properly. There we go. Okay. So that's attached, but we're going to come back in and push that down and redo it. There we go. There we go. There's another one. Apparently one of the revisions has the T10 down here. So we are going to grab a little piece of heat shrink tubing. How long have we been going? We've been going for an hour. Wow. I'm going to slide the heat shrink tubing on there. And then we'll hit it with the hot air real quick. He said you can cut it off, but let's just do that. That should be fine. All right, and now there's one more thing we need to solder here. We gotta hit the clock thing onto that ferrite bead pin. So we're just gonna get a little flux. There we go. Oh yeah, that's plenty of flux. Jeez, oh my flux. Oh my flux. It's fluxing with me. Okay, that should be that. I think that's all we need to do. Now, the one thing that concerns me, so let's go back to the instructions, is, so there's a touch sensor that you can install, which I don't want to install right now. And there's this, which this doesn't exist in this revision. See, it says you can chop that off. We're not going to chop that off. Okay, this one. If you do not wish to install the touch module, you can connect pads 4 to 5 volt. Do we have pin 4? See, there is no There's no pad 4. So let's go back into the microscope. So there used to be a thing over here. There's our 5 volt. You can see we got 5 volt. That's nice. But we got these pads. So I'm hoping that all this does is affect our ability to go into the control panel, because there's settings that you can do for these things. Hopefully the default, like the other one, the default was totally fine for me, so I'm good with the default settings. Jeff Goldblum laughing. There is no pad 4. Yeah. Okay. Gotta tighten all these down now. How do we look? We look aligned. We look pretty well aligned. We got all manner of schmutz getting onto our screen now. It's okay. We'll be okay. Let's hook this up and let's see if it does a thing. So we're not going to use batteries. We're going to use the AC adapter. Plug this guy in here. This goes like that. And this guy goes that way. And let's go with our Sonic 2, since we know that works. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. We got nothing. Oh, well, we got no speakers installed. That might help. Let's see what happens when we plug in a speaker. So one of these speakers, I think it's the right, needs to have an extension on it. Okay, let's try this again. 3, 2, 1. She is dead, Jim. We got our light on. Make sure our game's inserted properly. I saw something flash there for a second. I'm seeing something on the inside. Dang. Oh, crap. Yeah, it's plugged in. We got our LED on. That's the issue with not knowing if you have a functioning unit. I have a feeling this is not the fault of the screen. Yeah, see how quickly that pops up? Yeah, here you can hear it now. Just seeing how long it takes for that to show up. Oh. All right, let's count this. Okay, so that way is loud. Okay. I'm gonna make this loud. Gonna steal this. Hey, all things DG. Oh, I didn't have the game installed properly. Maybe that'll help. 3, 2, 1. No, that doesn't help. Crap. I don't smell like awful burning or anything, so that's something. There it is. Oof. Whoa. That doesn't look right. We got an unhappy dealio. Yeah, everything's been recapped. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We are going to deoxit that socket. Whoa, 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 we're gonna lose all our deoxit. Deoxit fixes everything, right? Sorry, all things DG, you did miss me trying Vegemite for the first time, which I'm sure is the highlight of everyone's weekend. It might be due to the fact that we don't have everything sitting in here properly and aligned. Maybe that makes a big difference. Try this again. That goes there. All right, let's try it again. That's funky, man. At least it's moving on, but that video signal is wacky. I'm wondering if it has something to do with the thing I left off. At least it boots up every time now. The sound isn't as distorted as I would think it would. Like, it basically is about as good as these get. Oh, I think maybe one of my soldering joints might be bad. Yeah. See how when I put my hand on it, it changes? I didn't fill that up with solder well enough. Oh yeah, that's getting better now that I've pushed on it. I think it was my bad, my soldering. Yeah, that looks way better. Okay. There we go. So, it's a combination of the game not being plugged in right and my soldering being crap down here. So let's redo those. Oop. We are going to flux the heck out of this. Get this really flowed all up in there. I think what I probably should have done was trim that little tiny piece off of the edge. You can see how there's like a little tiny piece of that plastic that's not all, like it prevents the fingers from going all the way to the edge. On the other one, that was not like that. And it allowed the soldering to happen easier. All right, let's see if this fixes it. No. Man. That's annoying. Look at that. It's almost like there's PCB badness. How about that crap? Wondering if there's like a bad trace in there or something. Oh, I should probably not have the sound up that high. It's like once it gets going, it's fine. I wonder if I poke at it anywhere else. Yeah. Oh, that's bad. I just poked it to death. Ooh, that's real bad. Okay, so what do we got going on over there? This is weird. That part of the board is not ideal, but it shouldn't be too awful. Let's move where I have the clock soldered up to the other pin. It shouldn't matter, but just in case. Let's put a little bit more solder on this one. That's gonna fling everywhere now. There were some vias that were a little funky down here somewhere. That's pretty gross. What the hell is that? Oh, you're not even looking at the right thing. Some kind of booger. They all look okay. That's fine. You're getting flux coming through the vias, so that means they're not too crap. Thanks for letting me know now, Gupom. This is the part of board I'm worried about. I went over this thing a bunch and I think it's fine, but I think if there's something wrong, it's going to be around here, because this was just so bad. It could also just be that I did not solder the this thing well enough. Hey, Brian, waiting for the turn your house wiring into an TV antenna thing. Yeah, we'll get to that momentarily. I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get Chungus iron out, and I am gonna go hog on this connector with Chungus iron. think the only other option I have is to take this thing back off and take that little tiny piece of plastic off of each one of the edges there so that it flows better. I feel it could be just that I don't have this soldered well enough. That's ugly. All right, let's try it again. Try it again for the last time. Then we're gonna chuck this out the window. Now, I think if this doesn't work, then what we're gonna do is end the stream. Well, we'll try out that thing that's probably gonna light the BigBadBench on fire, and then we'll end the stream, and I will unsolder this connector and try it again. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Oh. Nope. It's all artifacty. Ooh. So that reset it. Yeah, there's something wonky going on here. Oh, well, there's a reset pin there. Wow. That's bad. That one just shut off. That could just be. No, maybe my power supply isn't ideal. Wow. Yeah, now we're not even getting an LED. That's real bad. Well, I guess that's that. Gonna have to diagnose that mess. Oh well, I thought this was gonna go somewhat better, but it did not. So there you go. Well, the heck with you, Sega. You disappointed me for the first time, for the last time. We'll get this sorted out. I'll figure something out eventually. Oh, that's back on. Now it's off. Got bomb. More like lame gear. Shame gear. Oh, I failed. Oh, I failed. I'm sorry, everyone. I failed. I did one, I promise. But I failed. All right, let's plug this other mess in. For those that didn't see my social media posts, I bought a box of weird crap. Well, no. It was 2 computers and several boxes of weird crap. And this was in there. Trina says, I just unsubbed. Sorry. I'll figure it out eventually. I'm sorry. And I'll post on social media what was wrong with it. So this was in one of the boxes of weird crap. I hadn't noticed because I hadn't gone through everything. But it's a regular wall plug going to cable. And so this is probably meant to be like to make your house wiring an antenna. But man, this looks terrifying. I kind of want to take it apart. Maybe we'll do that at some point on a stream. Cut this open and see what's inside. All right, so this is off. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, it didn't cause my house to catch fire. I'm in danger. So like, is there 120 volts coming through this thing? No. Yeah, see, like, what the heck? Like, how can you theoretically use this as a antenna if you're not having a connection to the world? Oh, a giant inductor? Yeah, but no, there would be something coming out of there. Cut Pump says wear big gloves and be careful. Come on, man. Do we ever do that? No, it's not hot. Let's poke a thing right down in there. We're getting 4 volts just like that. And now it goes down to 0. All right, so let's see here. Let's shut this off. We're going to shut it off to be sort of kind of safe. Let's see. Is there a direct connection to anything? No? Well, it wouldn't be that. Yeah, I just don't understand how it could theoretically do anything. So we're going to have to take that apart at some point. I don't like this at all. This was plugged into somebody's house. That's why I felt like I wasn't going to die. But yeah, this is not directly connected. What about this? See, like if this were like a coil, you'd get something there. What happens? Nothing. 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 All right. So maybe we'll take this apart on Saturday's stream. It's going to make a giant mess, and I'm not prepared to do that right now. Yeah, internet via power lines. But yeah, it's supposed to connect your house to be an antenna. So I don't know how this could theoretically work. I want to see what's inside here. So check back in. We'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think during tomorrow's stream, we're gonna futz around with some egret. We're gonna have some egret regrets. I have a bunch of boards here that I need to play with that I think have bad egrets, and we will futz around with those and see if we can make anything happen. I'm not super enthusiastic about it happening. That device was not used for antenna. It was used for old cable TV. What? What? I bet those prongs go nowhere and it's a total scam. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking. But anyway, so we're going to play with some Macintosh logic boards, and hopefully I will have figured out this mess by then. Sorry that this wasn't working completely at all. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. Yeah, this thing looked pre-cable to me. But yeah, thanks for hanging out today. I hope everyone has a lovely night, and be back tomorrow at noon. And we'll do our normal Saturday stream with some Macintosh stuff. And check my social media, Big Bad Biologist at bitbang.social or Big Bad Biologist at Blue Sky, whatever, for updates on this project. Hopefully, we'll figure something out. All right, have a nice night, y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out, and have a lovely day.